Show. Innovate, connect, and bloom.
Hi, welcome to the Bloom Show. I'm Sahid Naheem, your host, and this show is brought to you by Above All Flowers and New Bloom Solutions. If you are in the floral industry, either a company looking to hire new employees and wanting to understand how to keep your employees at your company, or you're an employee or a candidate or someone looking to get into the flower industry or grow your career within the flower industry and understanding what it takes to be hired within the flower industry, this is the show for you. Today, we are interviewing Pam Lopez of Pollen Talent, a floral recruiting agency that is specific and dedicated to the floral industry throughout all sectors of the floral industry, but specifically dedicated to the floral industry, allowing the floral industry to continue to grow and flourish through bringing new candidates from outside of our industry and doing her best to keep candidates within our industry. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Pam Lopez, and which is going to share some amazing information. And again, please feel free to comment, like, or share, or even ask any questions if you have a moment. See you soon.
The Bloom Show. Innovate, connect, and bloom.
Hey, Pam, how are you? Welcome to the Bloom Show.
Hi, how are you?
How's it going?
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to have you. I know we've talked so much over the phone, and now finally I have you on the show. So it's awesome to have you on the show. So thank you again, Pam. So Pam, I'd love for you to share with us what your background, how did you get into the flower industry, and as well a little bit about Pollen Talent and how that all happened, and what is Pollen Talent?
Okay, so it's interesting because I started in marketing, and I was a good marketer. I consider myself to be a good marketer, and I was lucky to be found by an HR manager, which she was like my first boss within the HR department, and she saw that I could connect with people, I could read what people wanted, and I began with recruiting ever since. It has been for over 15 years. Oh my God. So it has been for over 15 years that I've been doing recruiting. I love HR. I specialize myself in recruiting. And it was a fluke of luck, maybe, that I ended up within the floral industry. One of my candidates, it was a candidate that I interviewed. I connected with him. I placed him in another company. And one day he called me and he said, listen, I know some people that are looking for somebody to be specifically looking within the floral industry. You've done that within the grower side of the industry. So I think it might be interesting to you. I was drawn into the industry. And we came up with Pollen Talent because we did see this specific industry with this specific needs, with this technicality, and I just fell in love with it. So Pollen Talent, actually even the name was interesting in creation, brainstorming, understanding what we wanted to communicate to the audience, that we are pollinating success, it's what's driving us within this company. So it is a talent recruiting agency specialized in the floral industry, in every aspect of the industry. So I've been with the grower side, I've been with the wholesale, I've known the distributors, I know the florists, I've interviewed event planners. So I'm there. I'm part of the community finally. So it's a little bit of how the company was formed and created.
That's fantastic. And to the audience that may or may not know, a lot of our partners and companies that we work with do know that you are actually a partner vendor of ours. So we work closely in helping you understand the floral industry as well. So we do have our stamp of approval on Pollen Talent because it's doing good things for the floral industry. So I do want to start with some questions. Of course, that's what we're here for. So what strategies do you find most effective for attracting top talent in the floral industry? So what are your recommendations to companies looking to hire in the floral industry? Because we know that as of late, and we've seen it, and our customers reach out to us, it's a tight talent pool. So you have to have something different. So what strategies would you recommend in attracting?
So it's It's interesting because I told you that I have this marketing background, and I truly believe that having a good company brand attracts talent. So a lot of companies are focusing on the product and how to embrace new clients in that business side of the company, but they sometimes may forget that your people within talk about you, talk about your company. It's not a mystery that we have new tools like a great place to work. That enhances your brand as an employer. So I think it's key to create a good employer brand, that people within the industry and people from other industry feel attracted to work in your company. So I think that would be my number one tip. And hearing and having a lot of different interviews all the time, I do ask, what is it that's making you look for something different? So many candidates do speak about working environment. So I think that's a key aspect to consider for attracting and retaining talent, to have a good working environment, a health environment, a company that is focused on its employees as well as the product and the business per se. So I think those would be like my key aspects. Of course, there's benchmarking as far as compensation, benefits, that I think it's good to be, um, to know how the industry and how the working industry is moving, so that you are part of that working improvement environment.
And I is the way you exit interview, your professionalism as an employer, because not only is the word going to get around, you get a ROI on that, correct?
Of course, of course. I see like the employees are the heart of a company. So if you're not good within, you're not going to project that into your clients and even into your competitors. So it's good to have that welcoming, warm heart within your company, so that you project that as well to your clients. So I agree with companies being very aggressive as far as sales goes, because everyone's looking for to comply with those numbers. But it's also good to nurture your employees, so they know why you do that, how you do that, and they are engaged to why, and they communicate that to the industry. So the industry, if I've told you many times before, it's a rather large but small industry, so everyone knows each other. So it's good to have that, because people are going to be talking about you, and we want good feelings to be spread about your company.
Fantastic. So I think that this might be asking the same question, but can you describe your approach to sourcing candidates for specialized roles within the floral industry? Is there
Okay,
is there a difference?
so when it comes to
Okay.
sourcing, the first thing you have to do as a recruiter, it's fully understand the company's needs. Why are they hiring? Why is this a new position? Why this is this a replacement? So get to know the industry, get to know the grower side, get to know the wholesale, get to know the grind of the industry, so that you can fully understand your client's expectations as far as a candidate goes. Of course, this is a very technical industry, so you need to understand the product, understand that it's a perishable good, that everyone has that urgency to move, and be part of that movement. Be fast communication, fast replies, fast search,
Problem solving.
and yes, and fast screening as well, because you are competing to have talent. So it's a fast staffing process for sure as well. So I think that understanding that technicality of the industry helps in screening for candidates. Also, we're part of the community, which does involve social media, referral programs, and we do partner with experts within the industry. That's actually how we met. So it's partnering with people that assures you what is talent within the industry, what to ask, what to look for, what this particular company is struggling with. So you fully understand what candidate may fit or not with the specific search. And of course, as we are an agency, we are very open to talent. So we are very open to, if we find a candidate that maybe it's not fitting with this particular role, be sure of how to this candidate can fit within the industry. And for that, it's you need to know the industry. You need to know how this candidate can be an asset for other companies or other parts of the industry.
Oh, sorry, I do want to mention something, and thank you. I was listening to that. I have a question right away. I should have mentioned this in the beginning. We do apologize. Scott Blumenthal wasn't able to attend. He had an emergency, so we will get him on sometime soon. But he did have an emergency, so I stepped in. So Pam, when it comes to that, when it comes to the sourcing, why is it important for a company that's looking to recruit either a distributor or a wholesaler? Because I do understand you work with wholesalers, distributors, growers, florists, logistics company, anything within the scope of the flower industry, including produce as well. When it comes to that, why is it important to not just work with another type of recruiting agency that's recruiting for car dealerships and lawyers and accounting? Why is it important to be specific to the flower industry?
It's important because we do have that benchmarking as far as we are interviewing candidates constantly that are within the industry. So we are experts because we have that inside information all the time. So it's going to give you time and resource efficiency because we do work within the industry. We have the same community, and it's not an easy community to enter to begin with. So if you hire another recruiting agency, they're not going to be able to identify the core and the heart of the industry. So that's why it is important. We are constantly interviewing candidates within the industry for many different roles. So we do have that inside information and market insights and guidance that we can offer to our clients.
Fantastic. And then on top of that, it is important as well to understand that you're not just a resume pusher. It's important because you're as picky as the customers, correct?
Yeah, so it's actually compared to having like this first date. So is it a match or it isn't? So make sure that the candidate it's also going to like the company. So it's that assertiveness that gives us that leverage point on what to present to a specific company. So when we do talk with our client and understand his needs, we may offer a different solution. As okay, listen, you have this budget, you're looking for this position.
Yeah.
What if we do this? How do you feel with this strategy? It may need a training program, but it could be a solution for you. So that partnering with the company, I think, is essential, and it's what keeps us in the business, actually.
Fantastic. And then, what challenges have you faced when recruiting in the floral industry, or what challenges does the floral industry face when recruiting in the floral industry?
Okay, so I think the recruiting it does faces this client's expectations. So I think that's the first challenge as far as maybe you as a hiring a manager are looking and are want this specific candidate, this specific talent, and understanding and even like down to earth expectations that this is the market, this is what you have. So working with that expectations within the industry might be challenging. And it's difficult for some companies to realize, oh, I don't have that big of a name within the industry. What should I do? Or I don't have that budget right now. Do you think that if we give this hybrid or remote would be something good, or things like that? So I think understanding your client's expectations and working around them, it's essential. And it's a challenge within the industry. And also it's understanding that it is a very particular and unique industry as far as you have this particular set of skills from candidates that you need to find. This working in a grind, this fast-paced environment, this customer orientation. So it is challenging as far as the pool of candidates that you may find or not. So that's also things that I've seen, and seasonality within the industry. Everyone struggles with it. So when it's Valentine's Days, Mother's Days, I'm out. I don't exist because people is in the business. So that can be a little bit challenging when recruiting as well.
And I think that what's important, and again, you were kind of jumping through the questions, but it's important to understand that time is of an essence when recruiting, correct? And why?
Yes, it's very important. It's very important. And actually it's very important to like act before it's going to happen. So I think it's very important to know what you want ahead for your company and hiring strategies.
100%, because the times have changed since COVID, right? And we could also talk about that in a moment. But the times have changed since COVID, where it was the employee had to honeymoon the employer. Now the employer is having to honeymoon the employee. So can you share a little bit about how do companies onboard? What is the best way? Because I believe your success starts at the interview, right? Being very transparent, very open, and then it transitions into onboarding, training, etc. That's when you get the ROI. You could only lead the horse to water, but you can't teach them how to drink, how to jump, how to talk, how to walk, how to eat. You can't teach them everything. That's up to the company, correct?
Yes, yes. And actually, it's this screening process because we do use assessment tests that sort of gives us like a guidance and what each particular candidate is looking for as expectations, their strengths, their points of work. So we do give and provide like a guidance and what each candidate is looking for. So as far as onboarding goes, and it was a question that we wanted to understand with Scott, is how the company embraced that onboarding process. It's very, very important because you are attracting a new talent that needs to adapt to your organizational culture, adapt to your processes, adapt to your staff. So it's very important to put yourself into the new hires position. So I consider like this to be the first day of school. Like, remember how it is and remember that you are very eager to learn and that you are very interested in like knowing everything, and it can be overwhelming. So be aware of your new hires as far as giving them the information, providing them those contacts within the company, give them a process, a clear process of what you are expecting of them in a monthly period. It could be a 3 months, 6 months, whatever you want, but give them a process so that they understand how they're gonna fit into that organizational culture.
And I think it's important to also mention that this does not only go for a distributor or a wholesaler or a florist or a grower. It's throughout the entire sector and business and value chain of the flower industry that an onboarding process and good training is super important to the success of that employee. Am I wrong there, Ben?
Yes, yes. Actually, it's very interesting because what I've seen is that your first job, it's your first job defines a little bit of your working style. So you have that like process and how to do things. So then you change to another company and they do things another way. So you do have a little bit of a background, but still you need to really like be prepared to change and adapt. And some companies don't acknowledge that. They think they have that technical knowledge, they have been in the industry, so they know how it is. But each company does their processes in a different way. So you need to be aware that it is a different grind to change from one company to another. Even though you've been within the industry, you may know the product, but the way that your specific company does that, it's different. So you need to
And I,
teach that.
and I know you told me a story one time of a candidate went to a company wholesaler, called you and said, "I've been standing here for an hour, no one's addressed me," and they left.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that is interesting, because if there would have been a person assigned to that person to introduce them, welcome to the team, and I've seen that in other wholesalers that I've consulted for, that it's almost like, who's that guy? So even a wholesaler of grabbing the guy, taking him out to lunch, having one of the employees taking him out to lunch, that is actually, you're investing into that new employee by just taking him out to lunch on the first day by the person that's training them, let's say, for example, and pay for the damn lunch if you have to, right, Pam?
Yes, and even because this was a wholesaler, so we know the grind. Everyone's struggling. It could be a jungle because the coolers, it's a processing of flowers, it's a walking client. So when this particular candidate called me, I stand in his shoes, and okay, this is what was happened to him. He was looking at everyone all over the place, and he didn't know how to help. But he needed help. So it's understanding what the new point of view it's watching of your company, and being to be there for them. Just follow me, help me with this. It can be simple, but it needs to be done.
Exactly. And then here's another question. What key qualities do you believe are essential for the success in the floral industry? So an employee, let's say, this is what I'm close to, is let's say a salesperson's looking to get hired within a distributor. I know one of the first things I was asked, what's your book of business look like? What's your sales skills? So what are the key things that someone looking to get into the flower industry should be aware of and should be prepared when going into that interview? And what information should they know? Numbers, what should they memorize?
Yeah, so we can we could discuss like particular positions, because sales, you are in the grind. So sales actually is the number one looked for position. So it opens you doors and it leads you to growth. So is a very particular position because you need to have a book of business. That's very interesting. You need to know the industry, so you know the competitors, you know the prices, you know the margins. You need to be aware of the KPIs. So sales it's a particular position to begin with. So if you want to be in sales and you're pursuing a sales position, you need to research how the company is doing, what are the products they're selling, what are the clients, what is their name within the industry. So you need to research as if you're a candidate and you're looking for that sales growth. And you are in that grind, so you know the competitors, you know your challenges in that position, so you know who you're going to be interviewing with and what they're going to look for in you, what skills they're looking for. But when you change to another position, it could be a technical position, it could be logistics position. So my number one tip is research and understand the company. So it's not just they're interviewing you, but you're also getting to know them. So be prepared. I one of the first questions is, what do you know about the company? And most candidates, no, I haven't heard much about the company. Research, understand the position, understand the organizational structure, because you're gonna fall in love with the company for sure. But you need to know for you to fall in love. So that would be my first tip. And yes, and be prepared for that grind. Be prepared for that assertiveness and communication, because it's a fast-paced industry in every level, so they're expecting that. And so yes, I think that would be my two key points into the positions in the industry.
So I know this wasn't one of the questions, but I just came up with it. What are a few questions an employee can ask the interviewer? So what are some questions that you've been asked that you're like, ooh, that's a good question? What are a couple questions like that?
One that I like, it's because it sets the expectations of the candidate. Is this a new position, or is this a new hiring? Why is it an important question? Because it leads if the company is growing. So it's a new position they're creating. This means there's growth and it's a good thing. And if they're replacing somebody, is that why? Why are they replacing this position? What's happening there? So it gives you a set of, okay, I'm going to prepare for this. That is one of the first questions I would ask. And I would also ask what is expected for this position. What is expected in a 6 month period? Is there growth within the company? And also, yes, and it's a question that most candidates ask, is about the compensation benefits. So don't leave that hanging. Just ask, because people are transparent as well, because they want to make sure that it's a good fit. So ask questions, because you want to have involved employees. So you need to involve yourself in the company and understand how the structure is.
Fantastic. And then give three tap tips for resumes within the floral industry. So how do they build, what are the three key things that you're looking for when you're looking at a resume?
Okay, so first is the research. So you need to research as far as what companies do you want for, what companies are you looking for, what positions are you looking for, and tailor your resume to them. It's make
Good
sure
one.
that you're tailoring your resume to those positions that you want. It's not that they are out there. You want those positions, so tailor your resume to those positions, and make sure that to know the other side. So, for example, if you are, and that's it's a very good tip. People in the HR department that are doing recruiting, they take 10 seconds to read a resume and move forward with it or not. So you have 10 seconds to have that recruiter's attention. So one way to have that attention is to include those key aspects that the recruiter is going to be looking for. So you're applying, for example, for a sales position. Include your book of business, the budget that you're handling, a little bit of the clients that you have, so that the recruiter just, oh, I see this, good, let's move forward. Because they just take 10 seconds to do it. So tailor your resume, it's the number one tip. And also make sure that you are including positions that you want. That one of the first questions I ask is, if you can name a company, even it's not within the industry, that you are aiming for, that you will dream to work within, what company is that? Why? What position? So put yourself in it, and really invest your resume and your time into pursuing that. So I think that would be the tips that I would give.
And another cool tip is, and something I learned, was keywords, right? Because if you're getting your resume and putting it into Indeed or something like that, put keywords to the position that you're looking for. So that's just a cool tip as well. Again, keywords, SEO. We do SEO. So, what strategy do you recommend for retaining top talent? Today I had a great the other day I had a great conversation with somebody, and they're like, we lost them. That was on me, right? And that's a real smart person, because it's not like, I remember when I quit one of the companies, I was like, oh, you're going for money. No, sometimes it's more than money. So
Yeah.
why do you think that, or what are strategies that companies could use to retain their top talent that they're not thinking of now other than salaries, let's say?
Yes. So I think that there's with it's not, I don't know if it's the COVID side or it's the generations that change. Millennials are attracted to different things. Gen Zs are attracted to different things. So it's understanding your employees, understanding what are they looking for when they're working within a company. So it's not just the compensation and benefits, but it can be growth opportunities, understanding, first of all, your employees, where they're at. And I think make sure that you foster a good work environment. So that includes your leaders, that they have good communication skills, that they are embracing and creating teamwork, and also to create this supportive work environment as far as balance goes. I hear on and on in different interviews this work-life balance. So it's not a mystery that the flower industry it's a grind. It's difficult. It's even a physical position it can be. So understanding that particularity of the industry and making sure that you are supporting your employees, giving, I don't know, maybe checkouts or training programs or schedules. I know, for example, wholesalers, they can't do hybrid, they can't do remote. The company doesn't work like that. So, okay, how about schedules? How about creating a partner for you to download a little bit the workload? So understand what your employees want, and why are they with you? Is it the brand? Because I see that people wears that brand and like breathes and live that brand. So it's also a good strategy to have that brand that you are proud of representing. So I think those would be my strategies: that good work environment, that supportive work environment, providing tools that helps your employees, creating your brand and make them proud of who they're representing. So I think that would be strategy to attract and retain talent.
So let me ask you a question. The company that may say a paycheck's enough, that's what they get paid for. What would be your advice to them?
Okay, so it's understanding if they are working within a budget. So I do get that. And I tell, okay, so this is what you have. What you're gonna have are candidates. They're gonna stay with you probably for a year. Are you okay with that? Because I can give you candidates that are gonna stay with you for a year because that's what they're getting paid for. So it's having that expectation. You're not gonna have this is the paycheck. You're not gonna have a good work environment or nurturing environment. So that particular candidate is not gonna stay with you for the long run. Are you okay with that? So because it is an investment in new hires, you need the training program. You need people there. It tends to slow down a little bit of the activities. So if you are open to having that rotation within your employees, that's what you are expecting to have.
But what I'm trying to get to is that it's not always about the money, right? For example,
I
with
think
my,
it's not.
go ahead.
No.
Okay,
Yes.
so what is it about? Like, what are some tips? What are some cool benefits that people could offer that it's way past the money? It's more about the quality of life. It's more about the personal achievements, what, and their own personal things. Like, what's important to you? And I think that's one question I usually ask my team. And some will say family, vacation, acknowledgement, growth. Like you said, is asking the questions, but then following through with them, correct?
Yes,
Pam?
yes. It's
Okay.
asking those questions and also make sure that you create a good team staff. So a lot of people reject other job opportunities because they feel so comfortable in their current position with their current team. So they like to work with them. They have fun. And they enjoy that, and they don't care as the other compensation is a better compensation. They stay because they are passionate and they feel comfortable working with that specific team. So also make sure that you nurture not just one employee, it's the entire team.
Which is important. And something I do, and employees will be watching as well, is, like simple thing, $50 gift card when they go on vacation. I call it the vacation bonus, $100 gift card, an educational bonus that if they read a book and show me how they used it towards the business, they get a $50 bonus. So little things, I call it a work your butt off bonus, where either it's a bonus or they get a day off. And we do that. In the flower industry has done that too. But create a car wash. The guy loves his car. The lady loves her car. Get her a car wash once a month. Things like that. They might cost you 30. I don't know how much a car wash is nowadays, but it might cost you $30. But that car wash is going to be something they won't get at another company. Their car wash every Friday, right? So little things
Yes,
like that.
there are free things as being there,
Free
like an
things.
active listener. Just, are you okay? That question in the right timing can give you that sense, oh, I'm important to my boss, I'm important for this company. So be aware of your employees, and just provide that feedback in that right time as well.
That's a great answer as well. That there's free stuff, either cheap, affordable, or free. So there's no reason
Yes.
not to do it. No, another question here, real quick, is let's talk about remote work. Right? Before COVID, no chance would anybody let their people go remote, or there was some rarities. Now there's more. Then people are going back. Now there's a flexibility. So what does offering remote work for an employee do for a distributor or a wholesaler? Because some wholesalers that sell nationwide. But what does that do for growers, et cetera, logistics company? What does that do for the company that's offering that?
So I think it's an asset. I think remote and hybrid options are here to stay. So I think that is a little bit of the leftover of COVID, that you can work around it, you can make it work in a sense. What HR departments and most CEOs fear about this remote is that you lose that essence, that team building, that brainstorming at the right time. So it's making sure that you have those tools for that remote position to work. So it's the internet connection, it's the computer, it's the phone, it's whatever tool that we have right now that can enable to not lose that like company identity, which was the first fear that we have. But this particular industry, and it's good. It has been sort of a remote industry because we did have the growers in Ecuador. They were selling to other places around the world, or Colombia, or Netherlands, or South Africa, and we were connected with Skype, which I see that people still use Skype. So this particular industry is sort of used to that remoteness. I agree
Yeah.
that some positions don't work with that. The phone enables for you to be connected. So if you can't be there, give them a call. Now it's easier, and we've been trained to know people through a screen. It was difficult at the beginning, but COVID did help that. So I think it's a tool that it's out there. It's a tool that also offers a lot of different options. So you can hire in other places of the world. You can talk to somebody that you didn't have the access before. So that's an asset, and that's something positive that comes from remoteness, because you can have not just this pool of candidates, you can have the world. So I think it's good to embrace that possibility, understand the tools that now we have to make that. And I think that candidates really like this remote hybrid because it provides a little bit more of a sense of work-life balance. And I hear this work-life balance a lot into the conversations that I have.
And you've seen that change during COVID, right? Work-life balance is a thing, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's certainly a thing. And another thing about remote is I know some employees that love to go to the office, right? That's
Yes.
it. They rather go to the office. They don't want to hear or know about remote. But then there's some employees that are actually, we saw that during COVID, or I saw that during COVID with a lot of contacts that we have, that they're actually more productive and working twice as much and twice as long, but they were actually more productive working at home because they felt like they had almost like an ownership of their own business.
Yeah, so because I understand both points of view. It's
Yeah,
like if you have your group of friends and let's meet via Zoom and each take your cup of coffee. It's not the same as having there in that coffee shop. So it's not the same. I agree. So it's that sense of belonging that may be lost, but we do have that. If you have your best friend that's living, I don't know, miles from you, you can connect in a way. So, and if that's important for that particular employee, do it. But make sure to have like that opportunity for everyone in the office.
of course. Yeah, that's a good call too, is having it. And what tips would you give an employee for remote working? Like, what are just some good habits?
Okay, so it's a schedule. It's a schedule as well. Work, because I do ask in my interviews, what's your favorite day of the week? Why? Because I want to understand how you organize yourself. Because nowadays, before we used to have um, this work process that our boss told us this is what needs to be done by this time, by this time, by this time. But now we don't like that. We feel it's micromanaging. So what we do is, okay, this is what I need to comply with. Let me do it. Let me organize myself. So one great tip is to organize yourself daily. Have those goals that you want to comply with in the week, and get yourself. It's to have a good space within your house, within your room that has the right tools to do it and that you feel comfortable. I usually advise you to have your office outside your room because you tend not to disconnect. You're all the time watching your computer. So try to have that work balance within your house as well. So I think those would be the tips, but be goal oriented. That's the number one rule if you want to work remote.
So, Pam, we're coming to the end now. If there's any candidates watching and saying, "Man, I want to reach out. I'm looking for a career change," who and how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, so we are active on social media. You can contact me through LinkedIn, our LinkedIn page, our Pollen Talent page. We do post our active search, and you can write an email through recruiter@pollentalent.com. I'm there. I'm very open to new talent. If you want to change your industry path, I think just call and I'll be there to listen and understand how I can help you.
David just wrote something funny, and he's been doing remote work for a long time. Remote working is all about not getting distracted, need the right space and organization, and wear pants. Dave, I
Wear
hope you're wearing
pants.
pants. I hope you're wearing pants, Dave.
Yes.
I really do. So, so that's thanks, Dave. So, so that's a good one. Gosh, now you lost my train of thought. I was going to say something other than wearing pants. It's also sorry she was bubbling, so you couldn't hear. And again, she's in Ecuador, and there's been, you know, malfunctions of stuff over there. Great country, but I think your internet's down, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have
So,
light,
so
which we yes,
yeah,
but yes, the internet
right. But
kind of
internet comes in and out here and there, where the
yes,
area she's in. It's recruiter at pollentalent.com, correct? That's what you said? Okay,
yes,
cool. So it's
yes.
recruiter at pollentalent.com. So you can reach out to her. And if you're a company as well and want to find out more about Pollen Talent, you could reach out to pollentalent.com. And I think you created you just launched a new website, right? A new website was just launched as
Yes,
well. So,
yes, we changed.
so yeah, so you can check that. You can
Yes.
check that out at pollentalent.com. And that's really it. Oh, Pam, what companies do you work with? So what sectors do you work with? So you work with wholesalers?
I would with growers. Let's start with the growers. So I do understand that post harvest that grind. We work with wholesalers. We work with distributors. We work with florists. So pretty much, I think I'm covering, and we've worked with different positions: buyers, logistics, transportation, event planners, you name it, account managers, you name it. So yes, I've been there.
Fantastic. I think Dave might have another question. Okay, sorry, Dave. So I think that's it, Miss Pam. It's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you again. And if anybody wants to reach out to Pam, please do reach out. And you could start recruiting or find the right candidate or find a new career. So or grow your career. Because you are also very open to hiring people outside of the industry. You have a little secret sauce there of
I
finding the right
love,
people
I
that work
love,
very well.
yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. So the
Great.
other industries, beware. I want your talent, yes.
Other industries. That's fantastic. So, Pam, again, thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye. We've been on here for 43 minutes, so I want to end it. But I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, Pam. Thanks for joining. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. She was sorry, Pam. You're bubbling. So I jumped because I thought that your internet went down. But again, thank you, Pam, for joining. Anybody wants more information with Pollen Talent, reach out to www.pollentalent.com and reach out to Pam. And again, if you have any questions about this partner, we are here to help in any which way, to guide you to the right direction. And once we're live, is what you'll find. Something happened here. Give me a second. I'm sorry. So cool. Our Instagram was just an hour. So I do want to tell you a couple shows that we're having. June 11th, we're having Christy Lopez of Propel. She will be on the show. She was a florist for many years. And now she's a business coach. So we've partnered with her to offer these services to our community and also her blog and information, because we really believe that it's really important to offer these different connections and connecting people, not just to flowers and sell, but also what helps their business grow. And that's super important for us. And we believe that in our culture and our essence of our business is how do we connect our customers, like our florists, our wholesalers, to opportunities to grow. And that's very important for us. So again, join us June 11th, 2024 at 1 p.m. As Christy Lopez jumps on and most probably does a takeover. I might interview her, but if you're a florist or wholesaler looking to add value to your florist or a florist looking to grow, please reach out and do tune in because she helps with marketing, finance, many different things. It's super exciting to work with. We are also having on June 25th, tune in to learn more about Certified American Grown with Cameron King. We are honored and excited to have been accepted as a vetted vendor for Certified American Grown as New Bloom and Above All Flowers. So we're super excited to be offering our services through that. So we're excited to have him on, and he will be talking about Certified American Grown and sharing a bunch of questions that we usually dive into to understand what's the value of Certified American Grown, where is that market going, and what opportunities do we see in that market. On top of that, Florist Expo 2024, June 5th through 7th, I will be there with the Bloom Show. We will have a camera, so if you are a booth there and you want us to interview you, reach out. It'll be our pleasure to interview you. We love people that are excited about our show, so if you're there, reach out, send me an email at Sahid@New Bloom Solutions. Or go to LinkedIn or go to Instagram or respond to one of our emails and just let us know that you'd love for us to go by your booth, and we'll check that out. And if you want to go, we do have still a code, which is Bloom2, which allows you to get it registered for free. So you can get a hall pass. And then there's another code called New Bloom that if you're a florist or if you're a wholesaler and have florists that might be going, give them New Bloom, because that code will allow them for 50% off their boot camp. This year they're doing a boot camp, which is super cool. And that'll allow them to have access to that. That's just, again, another way for us to add value to our community, to continue to help our community grow professionally and product-wise, but also professionally and within their business. So again, thank you everyone for your time, for watching and chiming in. And thank you, Dave, for that comment. That was hilarious. And by the way, he corrected me. It's been 17 years. And he said something about remote working. I just didn't show it because I'm really quick and in a hurry. But again, thank you everybody for your time. Truly appreciate you, and see you next show. Take care.
The Bloom Show. Innovate,